How's it going, everybody? My name's Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller and full-time student, and in this video I'm going to be diving into a software that I've used to make over $10,000 over the last couple years selling on Amazon. I'm going to be showing you how to use Zen Arbitrage. This is a software where you can go look at Amazon and basically buy those books on Amazon and flip them on Amazon later. At least that's how I personally use the software, is to buy textbooks that become underpriced during off-season and then go for 2, 3, even 4x the value during textbook season. So I'm going to be diving into this software, showing you how you can make some money for your business. Before we do that, if you could help my business out, I'm going to be helping out yours in this video. If you could hit that subscribe button down below, I'd appreciate that. Let's jump into the video. So the first time you boot into Zen Arbitrage, this is what it's going to look like. It's just going to be a big, long list of books. No real profit to squeeze out here. But as with all sourcing software, just like Tactical Arbitrage, any other software you use to source profitable products, the real magic comes with setting the filters. So real briefly, I'm going to show you how I would personally set up some filters here. I'm just going to be looking for books within a specific price range. You can adjust these as you see fit. So I'm going to look for 20 to 25. I'm going to leave Amazon alone, and then I'm going to change the new price to 80 and above. And so the reasoning for this, and you can adjust these prices for whatever you want, is that I want the new price to be a little over triple the price at bare minimum of the used book, because that's the point, if the book you're buying is triple the price new, that's going to be kind of the ceiling, and that means following what's called the rule of thirds, where if you buy a book, let's say a book's $25, you want to sell it for $75 to double your money. That's about how it usually works out. But I'm looking for 80 and above so that it can fall within that rule of thirds. So you could adjust those prices as you see fit. Hopefully that makes sense to you. So you could do 15, 20, and then make this like 65 or 70 so that it's right above that, meeting the rule of thirds. Since it's a new copy, you want to make sure there's a little bit of wiggle room there. But that's kind of the reasoning there. There's no real super scientific reason for it. The next thing I'm going to do is change the average rank to 750K or lower. You could go to 1 million, you could even go to 2 million depending on your preferences. I prefer stuff that sells a little bit faster, but 750K is certainly not fast by any means. I like to check textbooks only. You're probably missing out on some opportunities by doing it that way, but I personally would rather just filter out textbooks. And then we're going to adjust the used offers. The reason I filter used offers is because the simple supply and demand. The more used offers you have, the more chance it's going to be that book won't actually increase in price like we're hoping for, because the whole rationale behind this sourcing software kind of decision-making process is that we're buying books in the off-season right now, and then during January or August, September, those books are going to be 2-3x the price. So I want to look for books with less competition, which is going to increase our odds that those books are actually going to increase in value the way we want them to. But as far as filters, that's pretty much all I do. Another option you could do is go over here and search by publisher. You could filter out textbooks, and then you could just do individually, like searching for publishers. So you could just do Cengage there, or you could do McGraw-Hill or whatever. I'm just going to leave it as textbooks for the video's sake, but that's one other way you could do it if you really want to dive into this software. So from here, we're just going to go ahead and press apply filters. And now we've got a lot more concentrated list of books to look at. So basically, if you mouse over these options, you can track them over time. So this is useful if you want to get kind of a bird's eye view to see whether or not those prices are still increasing, what direction the price is headed in. You can also do the same thing with sales rank to see if the book is getting phased out or not. Like right here off the bat, I can see that this book is getting phased out a little bit, but it still sells fairly quickly because it is still, as high as it's ever gone is 300,000, sitting somewhere around 100,000, 150,000. That's a pretty decent selling book. So we can just go ahead and click through. We're just looking for, the main thing we want to look for is the prices are increasing during textbook seasons. That's personally how I use this software. So as you can see here, during January, price goes up, goes back down, and then we saw a little bit of a bump, but it wasn't quite as significant. Prices started to fall a little bit, and we also have We can also think about the fact that this black line is the merchant fulfilled pricing and not the FBA pricing. Most of the time when you're doing this model, you're going to be buying at FBM and then flipping at FBA in a couple months. So in this case, the FBM prices were right about $35, which means add $4 for shipping. Usually the black line you can add $4 to, and that's the real cost, since you're probably doing free shipping. Maybe you're not doing free shipping, but so the real cost here would have been $40 to a customer. And then you can also consider a prime bump. So with an item like this that was as low as 8,000 sales rank, maybe even lower than that, the prime bump was probably pretty significant here. So it was probably maybe doubling the price even. I'm going to take away some of this information now that I think about it, because this is my Keepa have been set up for sourcing, OA, that kind of stuff. So we can make it a lot simpler for sourcing books. So we can see right here where that prime bump probably would have happened. So I would imagine that it didn't go much higher than this new FBM price, maybe right at the new FBM price, but selling for $50 is not bad at all. So now we're going to see the kind of conditions we can buy it in, see if it's worth it for us. Looks like we've got a good condition for about 25 bucks. The description says that it's slightly bent, nothing too bad, so we could sell that. Usually if they do these big scary disclaimers, that's like water damage or something, but this one looks good to me. One thing I would suggest is probably avoiding acceptable copies, especially for something like this that's a workbook, but just something to keep in mind. And then I also am curious to see where the prime offers are at right now. This one is kind of interesting to me. It looks like it's getting phased out a little bit, but I'd imagine we still would see a prime bump on this come next semester. So we're going to filter out for prime up here. Looks like we've got one at 47, and the next one's actually at $60, and then they are all higher than that. So if we're buying this for 25 bucks and we're flipping for 60, that's not bad at all. And then one other thing you can do to take it a step further is going back over here, checking out this link right here. This will take you to Bookfinder. You can actually mouse over it and it'll load them up. It looks like it's taking a second in this case, so I'm just going to click on it. But a lot of these things are going to help save you clicks, and saving you clicks is super important. It seems like this in the past has loaded a lot faster. Not sure what's going on right now. But I'm going to go ahead and pop over here to Bookfinder. One thing you can look out for with doing this model is any ones that come from eBay, because you can actually get sales tax exempt from eBay fairly easily. I'm sales tax exempt. I'm not sales tax exempt from the rest of these sites. So this means that in this case, our true cost would be, in my state, my tax is about 10%, super high. So my true cost would be about $27, $28 or so. But if I went with eBay, it really would only be $25.36. So we can go ahead and click through here. The first book we found found some profit potential already off the bat. So it's taking a second to load. Maybe it's my internet today. But we can go ahead and run a quick profit calculation on this. So we're selling this one for $60 fairly conservatively. All those offers were at 60. We're going to see a decent prime bump here come next semester. So we'll run it at 60. If we're buying this for $25, that leaves us with a profit of $18, 30% margin. Pretty solid flip here. So I'm going to go ahead and look over here. No picture available, which I don't love, but it's in good shape, and it's from a seller with a lot of feedback. I would probably go ahead and pull the trigger on this one. This is honestly a pretty decent flip. And it looks like you can also get 20% off on 5 items. So maybe this is something I did a lot back in the day, was finding specific eBay stores with really nice discounts and stuff. And then you can keep that in mind when you're using Zen Arbitrage. See if that specific seller has that book, and you can consider that 20% off. Some of them will even do like buy 2 get 1 free. Some really nice deals from these eBay booksellers. But right off the bat, this book looks good to me. Almost doubling up our money here. So literally first book on the list. We can go ahead and check out 1 or 2 more here. Don't want the video to run too long here, but just for the heck of it, let's go ahead and we'll just click through. We'll skip the more complicated stuff this time. So let's check out the Keepa first of all. We're looking at a very decent spike, very nice spike. See, look, if you had bought this book last July or using this software, you saw this nice bump. Last year, you're like, I bet that price probably comes back. There's only 5 sellers on it. and then you come into stock here and boom, it's selling for $75. This also, I bet this book, yeah, so this book is restricted just because of the low competition. So we'll go ahead and skip that, but that kind of shows you the potential that's available with this kind of model. Is they're buying it for $15, and then you know, next week it's selling for like $75-$90. Not bad at all. We'll go ahead and check out a couple more here. And if you were curious, I get questions fairly often. This is that Chrome extension that just pulled up here. This Chrome extension is actually discontinued. It'll tell you when things are when you're not approved to sell it. There is a replacement called Gadget that I've been using. I think it's like $35 for a lifetime membership. There's a link below for that one. If you guys are curious, check that out. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next book here. Looking at the year, I don't see any significant bumps. Looks like this book is getting less and less popular. This reeks of, yeah, so medical books. I like to stay away from these like nursing, medical, like pocket guide kind of books. These books tend to get updated really fast, and you will not be able to flip these very often because these the prime bumps and the new editions are not as significant for increasing the price, especially because those new editions come out and kill the value. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one. I saw a nice big price spike on this one. Pretty curious about this one. First thing I'm gonna check, see if we are restricted. Yep, can't sell that one. Keep on moving here. So I hear a lot of people talking about how even books are getting restricted these days. We're all dealing with it. No need to make excuses. We're all dealing with. There's tons of potential to be had out here. So this one is fairly interesting to me. The price didn't increase significantly, but with a sales rank like this, I can almost guarantee you that the prime bump here was pretty significant, probably 60 to 70, maybe even $80. And then last January it was even higher, and then very recently we've seen a dip in price. It looks like, so this is another thing you'll want to look out for when you're flipping some books, is this little tab here. See if there's a newer edition. And then this can help you predict how the price of the old edition is going to react. So one thing you want to look out for. So this is actually this is a nice case here where the newer edition is actually less popular. Where a bunch of it looks like a bunch of teachers tried it here in August, and now it's really not selling that fast compared to the older edition. Like the older edition, the sales rank is even better. So maybe they tried it out, didn't really like it. I would imagine that this book probably becomes more used maybe next school year. So since it is December, I wouldn't imagine a lot of teachers would switch over their textbooks. So this book's probably still going to see a prime bump again. So we can go ahead and look out for a nice used copy here that we could potentially flip. First, I'm going to filter for prime, see what people are trying to get for it via FBA here. So 51, 56, 60. So probably 75 is where we could sell it at. 60 to be super safe. So we're looking for a price on Bookfinder around 20, 25, maybe even $30, and we can hold out for that $75 price point. So we can go ahead and run a profit calculation here, see how expensive this book would be to ship. It looks like, unfortunately, the weight on the fee calculator is not correct, so the fees are going to be a little underestimated. So we'll go ahead and plug in 60. So yeah, so if we can get this for 25, maybe even $30, this would be a decent pickup. So it looks like we've got a very good condition from eBay for $28. If you are not sales tax exempt, it looks like A Books has it for 26, so your net cost would be like 29 or so. Or maybe you're fortunate enough to live in a state with much lower sales tax than me. But it looks like we're going to be able to pick this one up for, actually it's even cheaper. Oh, shipping, okay. So yeah, it's about $28. So we can go ahead and run that in here. So if we're selling this on the low end for $60, we're going to be making 19 plus probably maybe $4. So we'll be making 15. So 50% ROI, fairly predictably, but I'd imagine this sells closer to $75. Again, considering that these fees are a little bit underestimated. This is probably actually like maybe 26, something like that, but that's doubling up your money. Just like that, we found two pretty profitable books fairly easily. We clicked, 5 links, not too bad at all. There is, if you guys want, I think it's a 14-day free trial. There's a link down below for you guys. and feel free to ask any questions you have about the software. But this is a great software. I used to use it back in the day. Full transparency, I don't use it a ton these days just because it is difficult to spend enough money to get to the scale that I want to be at. But especially if you're somewhere between $1,000 to $20,000 a month, $1,000 to $10,000, this is going to be a great tool to kind of help you build up capital, because these returns are much higher than a lot of OA wholesale flips you'll be seeing. So it's a great opportunity, especially for beginners and people who are trying to spend their money a little bit faster and are in the used book game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, we do have a free Amazon seller Discord down below. There's over 10,000 people in there sharing all kinds of great free information. I would love to see you in there. Feel free to drop any questions, comments down below about the video. I'm happy to help you guys out. And as always, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you next time.